This Cookout 400 Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code RACE, SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting until I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He, as always, is Cody Zeeb. I am Rod Villagomez. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Richmond. After we go road racing, what better way to get back into the swing of things than to go short track racing right afterwards, Cody? Hot tempers in Watkins Glen to hot tempers in Virginia. It's going to be great.
Back to the roundy rounds, Rod. Here we are.
Back to the roundy rounds, indeed, because so many people love all of these road races. It's just a matter of we got to go right back to where everybody is comfortable, and that is turning left 4 consecutive times until we reach the start-finish line. Of course, we are at the Cookout 400 at Richmond, Virginia, at the Richmond Raceway, one of the longest-running tracks in Cody this year, only once this season. After years and years of going twice, we're down to once now for Richmond, unfortunately.
Yeah, just one race, so that's probably was a good move, I think. Richmond has been a track that's kind of struggled for performance lately. Very similar to Iowa, which we just had a couple of weeks ago, except at least in the past, I haven't seen tire stuff this week, but Richmond generally is a heavy tire wear track, so hopefully that remains the case. Otherwise, we might have another Iowa on our hands.
As I said, so Goodyear is bringing the hardest tire and the Pirelli scale of tires. NASCAR is bringing the very hard tires to go. The entire race is what they're planning on doing, I'm sure.
Hopefully not.
JK, that's not happening. But even still, I know everybody's obsession with tires lately. Everyone's obsession with road course. Cody, the temperature is getting warmer in the Midwest, but I feel like NASCAR fans are making it even hotter out there with all of their hot takes. It's amazing to watch, especially after this last weekend, how many people have an opinion about a myriad of things, how to make racing better, especially.
Yeah, there's a lot of instant next gen car experts that know how to do things. I love there's some people out there that are fairly annoying in their takes on things. And I love when guys like Cole Pern just get on and they're like, yeah, none of this would work. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. You walk around and pretend you're hot shit and you know everything. And then like a guy who's pretty much an expert comes in and is like, yeah, none of this would actually work at all. So congrats.
But you don't get it, Cody. I have watched hours and hours of YouTube videos from trained professionals who have done nothing but watch other YouTube videos that explain how to do this stuff. I know what I'm talking about from years of YouTube experience. How can you tell me I don't know what it's like to design a track or design a car? Cody.
Yeah, that's I don't know how I could tell you that, Rod, but I will anyways.
Absolutely love it. Before we get to everybody's comments, let me tell you that the Sports Gambling Podcast is doing another Pacific break with DAPZ Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Pacific. Get your team now. These teams will sell out. So go, go, go. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/break and use promo code SGPN for 10% off. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/break. Do not want to miss anything the big show does. And
That was so they did one a couple of weeks ago, probably. Well, I guess it's probably been a month and a half ago or so. But that was pretty fun and entertaining to listen to them break them. And that guy they have on, he gets pretty excited. Like they drew a Luke McCaffrey, and he's just like, but it was like a limited edition card. He's just like losing his mind, and I'm thinking, Luke McCaffrey's not really that good of a play. But this guy was just losing his shit. So I guess it's a great card. It was a lot of fun.
That's like when I was busting open the AAF cards and I was getting all super excited about like these guys that nobody's ever heard of. And I was like, yeah, let's go. But, like a Zach Mettenberger, I was all excited about him. It's whatever. Nobody else gets excited about it but me. TK, SVG, one for each win this year. Yeah, look at that.
Trying to tell you, it was going to be an SVG day, and it was not even close.
Everyone's like, oh no, it's got to get spicy. No, it does not have to get spicy. Marcus wants to know who everybody thinks is going to win at Richmond. I guarantee you who he thinks is going to win. Justin saying afternoon, fellas, KB weekend. Let's go. We'll talk about him in a second. Experts suck checking in. Blaney. Is that like Marsha? Ash checking in saying evening lads. Evening Ash from across the pond. Preston. Cookout, best fast food chain. Don't at me.
Have you ever had Cookout, Rod? No. I haven't either. We don't have Cookout here in Nebraska. Even when I lived in Mississippi when I was in the military, we did not have Cookout there. So never had the Cookout. So couldn't tell you if that's correct or not correct.
It's pretty weird though, because I've lived all over the country just like you, and I've never had Cookout. It took me until 2 years ago to have Bojangles for the first time. So
yeah, we did have Bojangles in Mississippi, but yeah, Cookout, not one I've ever even seen. So
yeah,
who knows?
Justin earlier talking about Dylan 40-1. Let's go back to back. We'll talk about him in a second. Corey hit a 6-leg race matchup parlay at Watkins Glen. Let's go.
I put in some. So I like to hit those local matchups on Sunday morning. I had a pretty nice day. Shout out to Kyle Larson for sucking once again. That was helpful.
Hey, we're going to talk about him too in a second too. Charles checking in saying, what's good, guys? God, you guys got this thing popping. Kush, I just want to grab up a couple people that we don't check in with much.
Hey,
Kush. What's up, Kush? Lynn. What's up, Lynn? Jess. Good afternoon,
hello.
Jess.
Good to see all of you.
All right. That's whew. All right.
Hey.
So
All right.
Now that we've checked in with most of the people here in the chat, thank you again for joining us live. If you haven't, please do. As you can tell, everybody is very talkative today, especially after the Glen. You're right, Cody. SVG walked the dog. Dog walked, and Connor Zilich decided he wanted to race and be done with the rest of the season. Maybe not. Who knows? We'll see how this collarbone shakes back. But what a tragic fall, Cody.
Yeah, it was. Boy, that was. First of all, I'm glad he's okay, and a broken collarbone, I think, was best case scenario coming out of that. I thought we were talking about it, texting back and forth, and I thought for sure he would have tore everything in his knee or his leg. Like, that was just brutal how it got stuck in there. It looked like he smacked his head pretty fucking hard. He did say he got knocked out, so obviously he hit it hard enough, but not hard enough to have a concussion, which is good. He did have surgery today on the collarbone, which it sounds like from what SVG was kind of talking about, he broke a collarbone at one point. They put plates in, and he was racing 2 weeks later. So, and don't forget, Zilich is, 18, 19 years old.
18, yeah.
If we break our collarbones, Rod, we're going to be out for a little while, right? But at that age, you break something, and you might be back pretty quick. So, luckily for him, Xfinity has this week off. They go to Daytona in 2 weeks. There's almost no way I think you're in the car for Daytona. That would probably not be great, but maybe he's able to come back in 3-4 weeks. In even worst case, well, I don't know, I want to say worst case, but even if he were to miss the first 2 races of the playoffs, the Roval is the third race in round one for Xfinity, and SVG will not be in that race because he's a full-time Cup guy. So I mean, Connor could come back and go for the Hail Mary trying to win at that point, and he's got a lot of playoff points. He's got 7 wins this season, so he does have playoff points racked up. But man, that was an ugly fall. So very glad that he's not hurt worse than what it ended up being.
Yeah, it just goes to show you, though, you never, ever know. Like, the most mundane thing you could possibly do, celebrate the win.
Yeah. How many, think of everybody who's won a Cup Series, Truck Series, Xfinity Series, ARCA race, local, like, you see guys get out and climb on the roof. It's very normal. I think we've seen once or twice where a guy stumbled, but we've never seen a fall like that, obviously. But, I mean, thousands of times, and it's never been a second thought. And, Denny was talking about on his pod, he's won 55 times, I think, now, or maybe even more than that. But he said he thought about it once because it was right after his knee surgery. But other than that, he's not like, I climb on the roof every time and never really thought about it. So at least Dale Jr. will probably be more open to the roof hatch idea now, Rod. So that's
good. And maybe less champagne, maybe less Powerade on the sprays. Like, I just, take it easy, guys. Take it easy. That's all we ask. No, not to bury the lead, though. Show was 3 for 3 in picking outrights this weekend as well. Very good card overall for this. I mean, look, man, we told you
they were all favorites, but hey, you got to pick and choose when you take the favorites, and this was a week to do so. So, wanted to get your opinion on one thing before we move on, Rod. Austin Hill. We put out a poll over on the NASCAR Gambling Podcast Twitter. And I believe it was 63% of the respondents in our poll, a very unscientific poll, 67%, said NASCAR should suspend Austin Hill again for his what appeared to be potentially an intentional wreck. Well, depending on which one you're talking about, maybe potential multiple on-purpose wrecks. But, what say you?
All right. So here's what I have to say. I have a couple of opinions, and I'll make sure to do this before we hit the break, and then we'll definitely get to the bets after this. But here's the thing. I understand aggressive driving. I understand driving to win. I understand the pressure that these drivers are under now to take every spot and take it as soon as they possibly can, right? I understand all of that. But Jesus Christ, guys, you are the top drivers in your profession. Granted, yeah, you're an Xfinity Series driver, but you're an Xfinity Series drivers that have been driving the Xfinity Series for 69 years. Like, there's no way you don't know that you are going to make contact with that driver at that particular angle at that time. You know, and you know you're going to ship him. There is no doubt in my mind that 1,000% as he was going in, every single time he went in, he knew what was going to happen. There is no way you can tell me that there was just no way he knew. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't see. There was no spotter. Bullshit. Dude, you know the limits of your car. You know exactly where to place that car to get the outcome that you want. And that's the outcome that you wanted. Same thing with Hocevar every fucking week, right? The dude knows how to drive his car. No.
Hocevar is not intentionally. Hocevar is putting people in bad positions on purpose. I will say that. But Hill, I don't know. I'm a little bit torn. I think that you could make the case for it being a racing incident because I think that it was, but a very preventable one and one where it wasn't as clearly obvious. I mean, the Indianapolis thing was 100,000% like he purposely turned left, right hooked him on a fast track, all that stuff. I don't know that he'll get suspended for this, but the week you come back from suspension, you take out multiple drivers, you say, I'm not going to change how I race, and you go out and drive like a dick. Like, boy, it's not a good look either way. So at this point, Tuesday evening when we're recording this, NASCAR's not released the penalty report. So we'll see. I'll be interested. They obviously didn't park him for 5 laps like they did in Indy. So we'll see. But and you put in, it's one of those things where maybe you give a break to a guy like a Connor Zilic who did put SVG in a bad situation and probably could have changed that, but more of a racing deal. But then you pile on Hill, the fact that he had just wrecked Zilic, and he's the week he comes back from a suspension.
That's like getting a speeding ticket and then immediately charging off at 100 miles an hour and getting another speeding ticket, 2 miles down the road from the next cop that's waiting for you. Like, you didn't learn your lesson. Like, slow down. Take a couple of weeks. Take a breather. Give him the extra cushion that he needs to get the pass in. You probably had a fast enough car to get back to the lot.
Who was? I think it was Tommy on DBC was saying, like, kid just doesn't have a, like, he sees red and just goes crazy. Like, you gotta calm down, dude. Like, I get it, you're in the heat of the moment and all that, but you can't just keep wrecking people like that. It's kind of insane.
Yep. No, it totally is. And for Zilich, it's the same thing, right? They told Zilich the same thing. Calm down. Like, and I know everybody, TK, boy, if you want a heated discussion about the whole Connor Zilich thing, go over to our Discord, because TK and Rowdy and there's so many people weighing in right now about that. It's fantastic. But TK wanted me to take the bait. I know he did, because of what's going on. But I'll tell you right now, there was a little difference in my opinion, but that's a conversation for an off season altogether. We got bets to get to, Cody. We've got plenty of bets to get to. This chat is popping off, and I absolutely love it. Wish we could get everybody. Me too. All right, but first, before we get to any of that, let me tell you about our friends over at MyBookie. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including MLB, WNBA, golf, and of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. There's easy deposit, lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. Man, I'm telling you right now, I have been a big believer of my Ottawa Red Blacks making a giant comeback, and they have this week. They are 6.5-point underdogs to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And listen, I'm going to keep rolling with it, man. 6.5-point favorites is a pretty big deal. -110 over on MyBookie. They play on Thursday night football. It's Thursday night, don't you know? But give me the Ottawa Red Blacks again, +6.5. We're going to ride this train till it bucks us. So far, it has not booked us. So head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Rhythm's power trends are now called smart signals. Rhythm continues to crush it with smart signals. Essentially, it's the best of the best of what their house model has to offer. Their AI detected patterns where Rhythm's model has consistently won and has a high ROI. Think a strikeout prop that wins 59% of the time when the line and the win probability hit a certain range. Smart signals are updated daily and exclusive to Rhythm. There's no touts, no noise, just clean data-backed bets. MLB smart signals are crushing it. Mike Trout and Giancarlo Stanton are a combined 14-0 on smart signals, recommending that their unders are going to hit. WNBA smart signals 97 and 65 in July with a 15.64% ROI. There's no good that Scott and Adam literally rebooted off one of their bookie accounts for winning too much. They're that good. Download the Rhythm app, check out smart signals, and start betting smarter. You know we're going to be. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. How about the college experience version? Nope, never mind. That's exactly what I'm reading. All right, let's finish that ad read because I am Ron Burgundy. How about that?
And go fuck yourself, Sarah. Wait a minute. Is that what he says?
Wait a minute. That's on the prompter. Oh, man. Jesus Christ. This is what happens. You just put anything in front of me. I'll read right through it.
Hey, that's why you're a pro's pro, Rod.
Trained professional. All right. So we are at the Richmond Speedway in Richmond, Virginia for the Cookout 400. Again, the only race on this track this season. Some say yay, some say nay. That's all right. But we are set for 400 laps around this 0.750 mile paved track for 300 even miles of beating, of banging, of revenge tour racing. And this week, Cody, it's on Saturday night. So, and we only have trucks and cup.
Yeah. Back-to-back weeks of Saturday night races, by the way. We'll be racing Saturday night at Richmond, and then next week at Daytona, regular season finale. 2 races remain. Rod, we can officially say if you have won, you are in. You are locked into the playoffs now. If you have a win, we're also going to get at least one driver in on points, potentially more if we don't have new winners the next 2 weeks. So that's exciting. But yeah, a couple of Saturday evening races coming at us. So don't forget to get your bets in. Don't be Sunday morning thinking, time to get some NASCAR bets in because you're going to be a little bit late.
You will be late to the party. You could get him in if your book still has him up on accident, but that's not going to do you any good because I'll probably
We've
avoid
seen
all
that
those bets.
before, but
We certainly have. All right. Well, then, as such, though, the lineup looks a lot like it's going to look for the rest of the season because as we make the push to the playoffs, not much is going to change.
We got a couple of special drivers in here. Jesse Love's going to be in the 33 car. Of course, Xfinity's off this week, so getting him another Cup Series start. And Corey Heim is going to be in the 67 car as well, making a start in the Cup Series again. More and more talk about that Caden Honeycutt is going in that 11 truck next year. Where does that leave Corey Heim? Is he now prepping to be moved into a Cup car? If so, what Cup car is it? Again, that's a lot of talk for another day, but another career start for him over in the 2311 camp. And then the 44 car is also entered into this race for New York Racing Team. I have not yet seen it was listed as TBA on the entry list. So I would imagine probably ends up being a Josh Balicki or a JJ Yaley. That's generally who drives that car, but we'll see.
Austin Hill is going to make a start in the 44, so everybody can just go bonkers all over him in the Cup Series. That's where we're at.
I have a feeling Austin Hill not going to be getting in the Cup car anytime soon.
Instant justice for young Austin Hill. All right. Well, then, Cody, there is look, I know that the books drug their feet. That's what a lot of people are saying in the chat right now.
Yeah, boy, it's you gotta search for some stuff, at least at this point early in the week. So hopefully maybe you'll get some better lines and some of this other stuff when stuff comes out. But we do have a few books that got out enough for us that we're able to put together a full show.
Yeah, again, I like what I have, so I'm pretty thrilled about it. We've been pretty good over the last couple of weeks with hitting these bets. So
yeah,
I figure
and like my card's not quite as loaded as it maybe normally is. It's definitely a little lighter this week, but man, and we'll talk about this as we go through. But we've had some chalky races lately, and I think we kind of both agree this is gonna be another chalky race. So just kind of. I guess that's how we're rolling with it. So, what's not chalk? Austin Dillon to win the pole, 60-1. Rod, this is my one long shot. I mean, top of the board is it's watered down. Briscoe, obviously, you love. He's like plus 275. Bell's right there with him. Hamlin, all the same numbers. So yeah, I like Austin Dillon. I think he started 6th here in the fall last year. We did have 2 races here last year, but 6th place start in the fall last year. So I like how well he qualified the last time we were out here. He was actually, don't forget, he won this race last year. He wrecked Joey Logano on the last lap. He wrecked Denny Hamlin on the last lap. That's how he won. But before that, in that late caution by Ricky Stenhouse, he was well on his way to winning this race just by being a fast car. They've got something figured out here. Unfortunately, the books have sort of noticed that RCR was really good here last year and didn't give us as good of odds as we were hoping on some of these guys. Like an AD top 10 is at this point in time, without some of the ESPNs and 365s of the world having their top 10s, which are bigger numbers generally, and FanDuel later in the week is generally bigger numbers. Maybe that'll change. But he's like plus 150, I think. That's hard to lay an AD bet at that number. So I'm going to take him 60-1. Maybe they just roll off the truck. They're fast. They've been really good at this track in particular over the years, and Austin's been good at this track as well. The rest of his qualifying history isn't great, so don't at me if he starts 23rd because, well, it's 60-1 for a reason. But give me Austin Dillon for the pole. And then Justin Burton in the chat here, Rod. This bet's for him. Give me Brad Keselowski over Tyler Reddick. He was advocating for the other side. No, thank you. We're going to continue arguing like we were for hours on end in the Discord last night. Love you, buddy. But give me Brad Keselowski over Tyler Reddick. Minus 130 over on ESPN. Absolutely love this bet. Go back just a couple of weeks ago at Iowa. Remember how fucking good, how fucking fast Brad Keselowski was. This track is going to race somewhat similar to that. It's a shorter, flatter track, right? That's kind of a pretty good comp, especially where we were just at recently. Starts in 5th, finishes 3rd, led 68 laps, had the best car on the day. Track position, he couldn't pass there, right? And hopefully here at Richmond, I mean, track position is going to mean a lot, but tire wear is going to come into it a little bit as well. But I love Keselowski over Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick, not typically a short track guy. Also, he's kind of hit a wall here lately. You go back and you look for Reddick, 9th at Watkins Glen, but 19th at Iowa, 29th at Indy, tracks he should be good at. 12th at Dover, wasn't great there, right? 6th, 3rd at Sonoma, Chicago, 4th at Atlanta. So a good run there, but super speedways and road courses not comparable to these. But ovals, he struggled. 32nd at Pocono, even a 20th at Mexico City, 13th at Michigan, where he should be good. 9th at Nashville's okay, but Keselowski's going to be better than that. 17th at Kansas, 26th at Charlotte, 21st at Texas, 14th at Dega, 18th at Bristol. Like, you got to go back to Martins or to Darlington for his last good finish on an oval. Okay, Nashville, I guess you had the 9th in there, but 4th place all the way back at Darlington, and we're talking early April at that point in time. It has not been a good season for Tyler Reddick. On top of that, they've got to go out there and run the safest possible race he can, because right now he is the car that's in on points. One car will get in on points. He has got to mind his P's and Q's. He cannot take any chances. They cannot gamble with strategy. They have got to be as buttoned up as possible and go score as many points as they can. That's not going to help him finish really well. You're going to sacrifice a really good finish for a consistent good points day, because that's what they have to get this week in particular, with Daytona looming ahead next week, and it's out of your control for the most part at Daytona, as we know, right? So you got to get points from them. Keselowski, on the other hand, he's been great lately. 31st at Watkins Glen. I don't care. It's Brad Keselowski on a road course. 3rd at Iowa, 5th at Indy, 10th at Dover. Now we're talking even 11th in there at Sonoma. Bad finish at Chicago. Who cares? Atlanta, good finish. 2nd place there. He beat Reddick. 9th at Pocono, 25th at Mexico. Who cares? Ovals, though, 10th place at Michigan. Rough day at Nashville, rough day at Kansas, but 5th place at Charlotte. He's had some really good days lately. He has been really good. He's beat Reddick head-to-head 3 of the last 4 races, 6 of the last 10. And going back and looking at, I don't know, I didn't go back and look as much at previous races at Richmond today as I guess I normally would. But Keselowski's actually been really good here at Richmond in the past as well. 16th here in the fall, but 8th last spring, 6th in the fall of 23, 10th in spring of 23, 15th, 13th, 13th, and then back, with Team Penske, he was really fucking good here in that 2 car, right? Led 192 laps and won here in 2020. Bunch of really good finishes in that 2 car, but he's continued that into this 6 car in the next gen era. So, and Tyler Reddick, he's been less good, I guess. And 3rd here last fall, so I will give him credit for that. But then 10th, 16th, 16th, 31st, 12th, those are his finishes in the next gen era. Not been as good. So give me Brad Keselowski minus 130 over on ESPN over Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, and just like the experts say, Tyler Reddick has struggled everywhere this year. Trust him, he knows. He would know because
they've been trying. Yeah. And actually to TK's point, he was actually pretty decent last week at Watkins Glen. Blew that tire late. But and JDK backing that point up as well. So if you want to count that towards momentum, the finish wasn't there, but they've been running really good every week. Reddick, on the other hand, I mean, God, I was so all over him last year. He was so regular season champion. He's on the verge of being close to missing the playoffs. If we get a new winner this week and he gets outpointed by one of these other guys next week, he might not even be in the playoffs. That's crazy. And Keselowski, yes, the season started off horrendous for that team, but they figured it out down the stretch. The speed they had at Iowa, this being a comp track, they've got this circled because he has to go out and win, and they're going to gamble. They're going to be aggressive. That could bite you in a head-to-head, but I think that's going to put him up front, and I think he's going to have a fast car.
Yeah, I agree with you on that point, especially faster than Tyler Reddick. Christopher wants to know any thoughts on the Blaney Elliott. Also, Logano Larson is interesting. Don't know which side I trust. It's funny you should ask that because my first bet is that exact matchup. It is Elliott over Blaney at minus 120 on ESPN. We've talked about the consistency of Ryan Blaney, and boy, has it shown through lately, right? 7th at Indy, 4th at Iowa, 6th at Watkins Glen. Before that, though, he was falling on some hard times, crashed out of 2 of the 3 races in that stretch from Atlanta to Sonoma, crashed out of Atlanta, crashed out of Sonoma, finished 12th at Chicago. But his average finish this year, 16.4. Plus, we've also talked about the model of consistency that is Chase Elliott all season long. His average finish this year, 11.0. The difference here, and Christopher, just like everybody else that's probably wanting the other side of this to be true is that for Chase Elliott, just his hard times have fallen over the last 3 races. Indy 13th, Iowa 14th, Watkins Glen 26th. But before that, it was 6th at Dover, 3rd at Sonoma, 16th at Chicago. Again, these street road courses, I can kind of toss them out. But he won in Atlanta, 5th at Pocono, 3rd at Mexico City, 6th at Charlotte. Where the deciding factor for me was, because again, if you kind of look at all things being equal, they are kind of the same type of driver. My tipping point was this track in particular, right? For Ryan Blaney, whatever reason, his average finish here 19.5 in his career. Most of those were spent in the 12 car. He's only got 3 top 10 finishes in all of his 17 starts on this particular track over the last few seasons. 11th in the fall of 2024, 19th in the spring, 14th in 2023 in the fall, 26th in the spring, and then 10th. This is his best year, 10th overall in 2022 rather, and 7th in the spring of 2022. Whereas for Chase Elliott, average finish here, right where you expected to be, 10th. His last couple of finishes here last year, 9th in the fall, 5th in the spring, 13th in 2023, 5th in the spring of 2020 or fall of 2022. Rather, remember, he didn't race one of those races because he was injured. But a 14th, 2nd, 12th, 5th, all pretty much better finishes than Ryan Blaney. And not to say that Ryan Blaney's not on a roll right now, not to say that Ryan Blaney's not a fast car, but Chase Elliott on this track has been faster. The next gen finishes from iFantasy Race back that up too, where Chase Elliott is 5th on that list with a 9.2 overall average finish. Mind you, he is down a race, so that does kind of skew the numbers a little bit. However, Ryan Blaney comes in at 14.5, so Elliott would have to come in with a pretty bad finish to sink any lower than that. But Ryan Blaney, 13th overall. And then if you look at the heat rankings chart, Chase Elliott fast on this track, 4th overall in speed rankings. Ryan Blaney, 6th overall. I mean, Ryan Blaney's been faster by and large this year on these conventional tracks, with him falling 4th on the list, but Chase Elliott not that far behind on 6th in the NASCAR season to date conventional track total speed rankings heading to Richmond. Again, if you look at pretty much the whole thing, you feel like it's an equal footing for both these guys because they're both elite racers. They both can win. They both are top 10 contenders just each and every week. Like I said, what tipped the scale ever so slightly for me was just looking back at the finishes on this particular track and knowing Chase Elliott's just gotten the better out of Ryan Blaney, pretty much every time they've been on the track lately. So, I mean, I'm, like I said, you're splitting hairs on this matchup, but I do like the Elliott side of it at -120 over Ryan Blaney.
Yeah, Elliott, to me, I've kind of placed on a shelf this week, and I want to watch and see what he does, because 3 bad races in a row. He's such a streaky driver. But, I mean, last week was his first not top 20 finish of the entire season. So he's been amazing all year, right? And Blaney's definitely been more up and down. So I don't mind that. I think the expert suck is going to go against you, which is on brand, of course, for them. I want to shout out Brendan Smith in the chat, too. It says, good to see you live. Let's fucking go. I don't think I've seen Brendan before. So shout out to you. Make sure you subscribe, click the bell so you always catch us live over on the YouTube. And then I wanted to just touch on real quick. Christopher brought up Logano Larson. That matchup is so freaking interesting. Joey Logano, I want to give him a shout out. We're not going to talk. You don't have any bets on him, do you?
And I put him in the thumbnail too because I wanted to. I looked at his finishes and everything
he's
here.
Really fucking good here. I want to, but the books have adjusted to that. He's like 10-1 outright, which is almost impossible to bet on a guy that's so hard to bet on like Logano. Anyways, I was hoping, hey, I raced him, so I'm like, oh, please be long, and he wasn't, which is unfortunate. But that Logano Larson one. Spoiler, I'm going to make a case for Larson in a bit, but it's not been good lately. That's an interesting matchup, and I wanted to shout out Logano. We're probably going to find a way to work him into the DFS show because I think that he's a guy you definitely want to keep in mind this week because he's been really good here. William Byron also, another guy I couldn't find to work my way in, but he's been good lately, and I was sad I could not find a way to bet on him, at least so far this week.
Yeah, there was a bunch of numbers that I wasn't really ready to swallow. So I just felt, this isn't the right place for it. And the Logano Larson one definitely was one. And I like you, Cody, you're going to make the case, but I'm with the expert sucks right now. You may have to not fade. However it is when you don't do what I say or say what I do, that's what you're going to have to do, expert sucks, because I feel like I'm with you on the Larson train.
Yeah, the case, I mean, I'm still on the same train, but we'll get to it in a bit. It's a number thing, and we'll talk about it. But, yeah, it's tough to bet on Kyle Larson right now.
I concur. It's not tough, though, to head over to the world's greatest sportsbook, Circa Las Vegas. They're hosting the world's biggest pro football contests, Circa Million and Circa Survivor and Circa Grandissimo, with over $21 million in guaranteed prizes. You honestly can't call yourself a true DJ if you're not competing in the Circa football contest. Come hang out with the SGPN at the Circa contest weekend. It's August 21st through August 23rd for an amazing weekend, including live shows and, more importantly, open bars. Plus, get 50% off a stay at the Circa with promo code SGP. 15 contest open to everybody. Plus, sign up in Nevada and play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxies. Go to footballcontest.com, use promo code SGP to get $50 off of your proxy fees. You've heard me several times talk about Underdog. Well, guess what? Underdog Best Ball Mania is happening all summer long, giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. There's no waiver wire. There's no arguments about trades. Best ball, literally the best place to play fantasy football. Underdog's also a great place to play Pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. There is high limits racing going on Friday night too, not just trucks, but high limits racing. How about Brad Sweet? His finishing position is projected at 3.5. He is the points leader in high limits, but I'm going to take the worst then on this one, because his average finish this year is 6.8 in the high limits racing. He has not had a top 3 finish since July 11th, where he won at the Florence, Kentucky track. Since then, it was a 4th place, a 7th place. He had a 5th place, a 7th place in there as well. I'm telling you, he may be the points leader, but top 3 finishes are not always in the cards for young Mr. Brad Sweet. So it could be the worse than, the lower than 3.5 finishing position for him in high limits. You can get in on that action, as well as everything else that Underdog has to offer, by heading to Underdog Fantasy and sign up with the promo code RACESGPN. You're going to claim a special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN.
Boy, that sprint car world's been crazy lately, Rod. Donnie Schatz and Tony Stewart broke up today after like 15 years together on the sprint car sides of things. Now there's rumors he's going high limit racing maybe next year. That'll be pretty crazy, but yeah, it's crazy times in the sprint car world.
It is. Yeah, I love it. Okay, well, it's crazy times in NASCAR world too.
It is, Rod, and the bet that I love this week, Dennis Hamlin, top 3 plus 110. We're back, injected into my veins. Denny Hamlin, he's been a guy that's been on fire this year. He's been so good this year. He's been so consistent, shows up each and every single week. We've had a couple outliers pop up here lately. I'm not overly concerned. Watkins Glen, 25th, road course, fine. Iowa, 24th. That's the part that's like, oh boy, I did that live show. I was still all over him. He didn't show up. He's not been good in either Iowa race. I'm going to put an asterisk on it, set it aside. But prior to that, 3rd at Indy, 1st at Dover, toss out Sonoma, 4th at Chicago if you want, toss out Atlanta, 2nd at Pocono, 1st at Michigan, 3rd at Nashville. He's been on a tear on the ovals outside of the Iowa race. This track, Rod, let me read you his finishes. 2nd, 1st, 2nd, 20th. He led 71 laps, won stage 2, finished 20th. Bad day. 4th, 1st, 2nd, 2nd, 12th, 3rd, 5th, 16th, 3rd, 5th, 3rd, 1st, 6th, 6th. We're back to 2015, where he has 3 finishes outside of the top 6 in, that was 18 races. Holy shit, Denny Hamlin loves this place. He is so fucking good here. Gibbs is amazing here. This race had been previously called the Toyota Owners 400, mostly because Toyota owned the track, basically, because they have been really strong here. I expect at least the 3 Gibbs cars to be good here. Ty might be fine too. But I saw your head snap when I said Ty, Rod. But Denny last year in the fall here starts in first, finishes second, led 124 laps, obviously on his way to winning after AD and Logano got together, and then AD got into Denny as well. But won here last spring, so almost swept the races. Second in July, fourth in August of 22, first in April of 23. So that's his next gen starts here. He's been absolutely amazing. I'm going to toss Iowa out. You're not worried about the road courses and super speedways because shit happens with the super speedways and road courses, just not a strength for Denny. But he's been really lights out on ovals overall. And like Brian's Van Goder's mustache says, I might just go Chalk City and bet Hamlin. This to me feels like another very chalky race, and we've had so many lately that it kind of sucks to keep coming back on here and saying it's going to be chalk. It's going to be chalk. If you don't want that, come back next week because it's Daytona, and that's the farthest thing from chalk, right? And then we're going to get in the playoffs, and things are going to get wild and crazy, and we got some great tracks coming up. But for right now, we're just on chalk tracks. Denny's been amazing here. If it is a tire wear race, which Richmond generally is, this track wears on tires. You got to take Denny Hamlin, and he doesn't have to win, right? It could be Christopher Bell's day. It could be Kyle Larson's day. It could be William Byron's day. It could be all he has to do is finish in the top 3 at the end of the day for plus money. I love Denny for that.
Well, spoiler alert. You're just mad because I took Austin Green from you last week, and that's not the
only thing I'm mad about, Rod.
That's all right.
I'm mad about 6 of your bets today, including this next one.
Indeed. So here we go. Bubba Wallace. I'm riding the momentum of young Bubba Wallace. His top 10 number is at plus money right now at BetMGM, plus 125. Are you kidding me? I mean, listen, not so much to say that Bubba Wallace has been on a complete tear this season, but boy, has he come into his own over the last 4 races, 4 pretty much entirely different disciplines. And he's been a top 10 driver in all 4 of them, right? Dover, he started 22nd, ended up finishing 7th. Indianapolis started 2nd, finished 1st. Iowa started 15th, finished 6th. Watkins Glen started 15th, finished 8th. All of those races were technical. All of them had strategy calls. All of them had him driving up from the middle of the pack, except for Indy, where he started in the outside pole. But I got to tell you, man, I know he's as polarizing as probably Ty Gibbs is to me in some instances, or Carson Hocevar is to me in some instances. But the difference is this. Bubba Wallace is getting it done right now. Tell me what Ty Gibbs has been doing lately. Oh, but he got a top 10 like 5-10 million months ago. But Rod, why are you bogging him? Oh, Carson Hocevar is the fastest driver on the track each and every week. Where's he finishing? Bubba Wallace is putting his money where his mouth is, and he's actually finishing inside of the top 10 every single week over the last 4 weeks. And I don't think that's going to slow down for him, because I'll tell you what, when you put in the list of streaky drivers, right? When you put in the list of guys that need their headspace to be right to actually perform well, AJ Allmendinger comes to mind. A lot of these guys, the emotional drivers, they basically run on pure emotion. Bubba Wallace is one of those guys. And if you look at the stretch between Pocono and Sonoma, you'll see exactly that. His Mexico City interview was okay, but boy, Pocono 36th, Atlanta 22nd, Chicago 28th, Sonoma 26th. Like, he got in his head. Same thing after Talladega, where he finished 8th. Then he got 33rd and he crashed out of 3 straight races. Texas 33rd, Kansas 33rd, Charlotte 35th. So he's a very streaky driver. If you look at the streaks of bad finishes and then good finishes and bad finishes and good finishes, this is the longest streak of good finishes for Bubba Wallace. And he's just riding high right now. He actually, I probably didn't even know. He was like, oh yeah, did I do that well? Of course he knows he did that well. But when he's joking around and laughing, Bubba Wallace is in a good place. And I'll take the risk, especially at plus money, for him to finish in the top 10 here, because on this track, he does have a top 10 finish. And that was the fall of last year, where not just a top 10 finish, it was a top 5 finish. He finished in 4th place, his best finish pretty much ever on this track, and sort of kind of found his way up, right? Started 5th in 2023 in the fall, finished 12th, 5th in 2024 in the spring of 2024, finished 13th, started 8th in the fall, finished 4th. And so he's just been getting better and better. And guess what? I think he's going to do it again this week. Top 10 finish, lock it in, plus 125.
Yeah, I love this. I wrote this bet down. I'm like, oh, this is a great bet. I love it. I went to put it in the dock, and yeah, you beat me to it. So fully endorse this one. Bubba's been on fire lately. He is a guy, like you said, that runs on emotion. Things are going great for him right now. And he's been really good at this track in the past. We mentioned how good Toyotas have been here. So I think all of those things combined are great. So top 10 odds, by the way, we're looking at BetMGM's got the best numbers out right now. Not a lot of places have top 10s. ESPN generally has better numbers. Bet365 generally has better numbers. Neither of those have dropped, at least when we started this show. FanDuel usually does come out a little bit later in the week with the best numbers. So I just want to kind of toss that out there. Keep that in mind. You see him at plus 125 on BetMGM now. Maybe you get a 2-1 on FanDuel tomorrow, something like that. They're never post before we record, unfortunately. But something to keep in mind.
They know, Cody. They know.
Well, they do. But also the top 10 market this week is weird. Usually I got all these long shot top 10s I like. I don't this week, Rod. I've got 2 top 10 plays that I like, and that's what I'm going to give you. One of them is Kyle Busch, top 10. He's plus 110. I was hoping for a bigger number. I said a couple of weeks ago, I was like, this is a race I had circled for him. I got all excited about it. And then you start to listen to everybody else. And Steve Latour, oh, Kyle Busch is the dark horse this week. And somebody else, oh, the Kyle Busch is. It's like, damn it. I didn't want everybody else to be on him. Unfortunately, they are. Mixed bag of results lately. 20th at Iowa, 11th at Dover is a positive. 8th at Michigan, bigger track, but he was 8th in the All-Star race, so short flat, I guess we'll take it. He was 8th at Phoenix, so I do like that part of it. And he's been pretty good here in the past as well. And main thing I'm leaning into, we talked about earlier, RCR has been really good here. I'm hoping that they take whatever Austin Dillon had here last year and put it in Kyle's car. Kyle finished 12th here in the fall, so not a bad run by any means. 20th here in the spring, which wasn't great, but he's been better in the fall. So, the track's hotter, obviously, in August than it is in March or April, which is when these spring races were. The tires are going to wear more. I think that plays into a guy like Kyle Busch's hands. So 12th here in the fall, 3rd here July of 23. So that's 2 finishes in a row, very either top 10 or very close. And then in 2022, he actually finished 9th in both races. Now, granted, that was a Joe Gibbs Toyota, but still, he ran good here. And then before that, amazing top 10 run from, in his Toyota days with Joe Gibbs from April of 21 over the next, 8 races, all top 10 finishes all the way through August of 22. So a great run there. And he's been very good on this track. But this is the way to play Kyle this week, I guess. The outright number I don't love based on where some other guys are at. And I wanted to have something Kyle Busch on the card. So this is the one, top 10 plus 110 over on BetMGM. And then, Rod, because I couldn't find a lot that I liked, I went over to Caesars, which is the only book that's posted right now that'll allow you to parlay top 10. So, and Caesars top 10 suck, honestly. They're horrible numbers each and every single week. They do a terrible job. I hope they're listening to this and fix their shit because it sucks. But you can parlay over there. So I built a parlay. And I'm just taking 2 guys that I really love this weekend. 2 guys that I think, one guy that I really love this weekend and one guy that I think delivers consistently good finishes. That's Chase Briscoe and Chase Elliott, the Chase and Chase parlay. You parlay them together, you can get plus 125. So hopefully on another book a little bit later on, you'll be able to get a bigger number, a better number. But Chase Briscoe, we've been singing this guy's praises for weeks. He has been on fire lately. 5th at Watkins Glen, 2nd at Iowa, 18th at Indy, but 2nd at Dover, 2nd at Sonoma. Rough day at Chicago, rough day at Atlanta, 1st at Pocono, 7th at Mexico City, rough day at Michigan, Nashville, but 4th at Kansas, 3rd at Charlotte. It's been a great year for him. He's kind of known as a short, flat guy, right? So you like that. 2nd place at Iowa, led 81 laps. He had a fast car that day, faster than William Byron, I would say, at the end, but there was just no way to pass. And all he has to do here is get a top 10. Martin Truex Jr., by the way, really fucking good at this track. What has happened at every track we've been to where Martin Truex Jr. was good, where James Small had all the notes, and they set Chase Briscoe in that car? Been amazing. 37th place finish because of an engine failure for Truex in the fall here last year. But he was 3rd in stage 1 after starting 2nd, so he had a good car. Engine fails, that happens. But March of last year, led 228 laps, finished fourth. 7th in the spring or the summer rather of 23, 11th, 7th, 4th. Those are all his next gen finishes. Before the next gen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 top fives in a row, 3 of those being wins. Truex has been absolutely amazing here. So obviously you hope that Briscoe can take that and work with what he has been given, right? Briscoe here has been good enough for the equipment he was in, 21st and 18th last year, but 11th and 12th and 23 when the team wasn't closing down, right? Good runs, 11th here in 22 as well. So just outside of the top 10 in much, 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 much lesser equipment that he's in right now. So you need him to get top 10. And then for Chase Elliott, obviously, it's been well documented how good he's been. His first finish outside of the top 20 was last week. 14th at Iowa. There was some stuff late where I don't remember how that went down, but he lost a bunch of spots near the end of that. Should have been a top 10 car. 6th at Dover, 3rd at Sonoma, 1 at Atlanta, 5th at Pocono, 3rd at Mexico City. He's been solid all year. 10th at Phoenix, if you want to go back to the other short flat. And another guy who's been really good at this track in particular. If I can open up the right tab, that's the wrong Chase. How about this Chase? He's been good, right? 4th place here, or 9th place here rather in the fall. 5th place last spring at a 13th, but then 5th, 14th, but a 4th again. Fall races better, which is what we want to see. And even going back again, pre-next gen era, he has been good as well. So give me Chase Briscoe plus Chase Elliott top 10 at plus 125. You got to parlay the two together to get that number. They're both, minus 200 or so on their own, but I think you're getting 2 very reliable drivers. One, Briscoe, I think, has a very good chance to win this race, which we'll talk about more in a bit. But they're guys who just consistently deliver you top 10s week in and week out and good, solid runs, especially here lately. Both have been good at this track or are in very good equipment at this track in the past. So I think that's, at least for now, the way to attack the top 10 market. I will say, Rod, little teaser for you guys, but stay tuned on Friday because there might be a little bit of a bonus bets episode. Which we'll give you more details on that later, but extra show this week, and we might dig a little deeper into some more top 10s.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited about the extra show to dig into more of the odds that we don't get to on this one because obviously there's a lot left on the table because they didn't get them all out to us the way we want them. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that as well. Love your Chase and Chase. I do love Kyle Busch. I was gonna put him in there somewhere as well, but I couldn't really find the good angle. So I'm glad that you decided to parlay them because it's exactly what I probably should have done. But that's why you are the smart one in the room. All right. My next bet gets 60 seconds and that's it because I don't need to spend any more time talking to you about ready and timer start. Kyle Larson. I've got Kyle Larson as a top 5 car, minus 115 over on ESPN bet. Look, say what you will about Kyle Larson. I know that he's Captain Shook. I know that you guys are feeling like he has abandoned you as far as being a good driver. But lest we not forget, he did finish 2nd at Indy, 4th at Dover. He's got a 7th place at Pocono. He won at Kansas. He finished 4th in Texas. He won at Bristol, which is a short track, by the way. A 5th in Martinsville, which is a short track, by the way. A 3rd in Phoenix, which is not a short track, but a shorter track than most. Kyle Larson, 3rd overall in the next gen average finishes on this track. Finishes a 5th, 14th, 1st, 19th, 3rd, and 7th. I get that the 7th place finish was not a top 5 finish. However, if anybody can get things done, it's Kyle Larson. He needs a bounce back because you're right. He's Captain Shook. Something's happened. He didn't even win in the sprint race that he was supposed to win in, but I think he'll finish 5th here this week. That's the minute.
Yeah, I kind of said this in the chat earlier when they were talking about that head-to-head. I don't think you can trust Kyle Larson enough to make a minus money bet on him right now. I just don't think you can. He's Captain Shook. If you're in the Discord, there's been the memes going around, the chat GPT stuff. He's really, really, in an overall sense, in for Kyle Larson expectations, I want to put that caveat in there. He's not been good since Indianapolis. The Indy 500 did something to him, and I think that it's tough to trust betting a minus money bet on him because There's just too many other sides of it where you get absolutely fucking burned on him. And I don't love that. So I am about to make a case for Kyle Larson in a different way in a minute. But again, because of this number, I have to say that I don't like the bet. And if you finish this top 5 and I don't have this bet, I'm not going to be sad about it, because I don't think you can trust him enough, because it's checkers or wreckers for this guy. And there's been a lot more wreckers than checkers lately, Rod.
You're absolutely right, which is why I only spent a minute, because you're either going to make up your mind the second I say it as to whether you want it or you don't. I just feel there's this weird feeling that this week is going to come to a culmination for Kyle Larson. Much like you said, this was a chalky week. So, and I know Christopher wants to know, would we rather play the top 5 over the head-to-head? Honestly, I feel like for the same price, give me the head-to-head, because then he doesn't have to finish top 5. And maybe Joey has that day.
Joey's really
I know. Yeah, but that's the thing.
This is not the week I want to be going against Joey Logano. Honestly, I might bet the Joey Logano side of the head-to-head, and then take the other Kyle Larson bet I'm going to talk about in a few. Corey says he thinks the presence of SVG is shaking his confidence. I don't know if I possibly. Yeah. And TK says he thinks the fact that the 5-car had brake failure is a bad sign as well, not just Larson, but the team dropping the ball. That maybe not just something, a lot of things I think have been off with that 5-car lately. And it's definitely a scary thing. But all right, Rod, something that's not scary, something that's not been off. Brad Keselowski. I'm going to take his top 5 plus 210. And I'm going to take him to be the top finishing Ford at 5-1. Our guy Chris Buescher came through last week, cashed that top Ford we went the solo top Ford play, and it worked out. Shout out to Dale Jr., by the way, ultimate D-Gen. He's been giving out his manufacturer parlays every week, and he nailed one this week. So, granted, they're usually almost always very chalky, but hey, I love that Dale Earnhardt Jr. is into. He can't obviously bet on the sport because of his multiple positions, but that if he were to be betting on it, and he bets on other things, he's very open about that, which I love. That he's a D-Gen just like us, Rod. So, Brad Keselowski. He's been really good. Talked about it earlier. 3rd at Iowa, 5th at Indy, 10th at Dover. Really good runs here lately. 9th place at Pocono, 10th place at Michigan. That's all your recent ovals that we've been on. He's been good. Even go back to Charlotte with the 5th place finish. Struggled out of the gate this year. That's nobody's is denying that. That's how it worked. But they've picked up things lately. They've been fast. He was the best car at Iowa. Again, a comp track we were just on a few weeks ago. Not long ago, we had this look. They've got things figured out. They got to go for it this weekend. I mean, he's got to win to get in, and I think that he's going to show up with a fast car. He's got a baby on the way. Could we get that early new dad bump? He's not. I mean, I guess you're a new dad every baby, right? Because sure. So he's got like 14 of them already, but it doesn't matter. Rod, in the next gen era, in this number 6 car, he led 102 laps just 2 summers ago in 2023. With an amazing race. Now, he ended up finishing in 6th place. Some stuff went wrong at the end, but he's been very good here, even in the next-gen era, even in the 6 car. 16th, 8th, 6th, 10th, 15th, 13th. Those are his finishes. And then pre-next-gen, I mean, he's not finished outside of the top 17 in the last 22 races here, dating back to 2013. That's how good Brad Keselowski's been here. You go back 133rd place finish. And prior to that, even in the Penske Dodges back in the day, the last 26 races here, one finished outside of the top 17. He has been a guy who's in competition for this each and every single time. He's won here twice, ton of top 5 finishes. He's been extremely good here. He's had some dominating runs, the 102 laps a couple years ago, 192 laps he led here in 2020, 110 laps he won here in 2017. 383 laps he led in 2014. If you want to go that far back, but he's been really good. He's clicking on all cylinders right now. Things are just going well for Keselowski in that camp. So give me Keselowski top 5 at plus 210 and Keselowski top Ford rather at 5-1.
They both start with F. So I'm not top 5, top 4.
F's, a lot of things going on there.
The top 5 Ford for Brad Keselowski. No, I do love this because I do believe that this is a momentum type of a thing for Brad, and we're starting to see him reemerge a little bit, and hopefully he does capitalize on that. So Speaking of another B word, I love your Briscoe that was already mentioned before in your top 10. I'm going to take it one farther and take Briscoe top 5 at plus 130. If you look this season at the number of top 5 finishes in the field, you will find that Chase Briscoe has the third most top 5 finishes in the entire field. It's Denny Hamlin with 11. It's Kyle Larson with 11. It's Chase Briscoe with 10 top 5 finishes on the season. And then look at the short track finishes. Cody already mentioned them before. 9th place at Martinsville, 4th place at Bristol, which is really where you're hanging your hat. But his recency has just been fantastic. 3 top 2 finishes in the last 5 races for Chase Briscoe. Granted, I know that one of them was at Sonoma. Actually, 2 were at road course races as far as top 5 finishes. But a 2nd place at Iowa, 2nd place at Dover. You know, some of these shorter tracks that they got going on. I mean, Chase Briscoe's going to get into the top 5, in my opinion, because he's just been that good lately. And at plus 130 for a top 5 when everybody else's top 5 numbers are kind of junk, I do love the price for this. And I don't know really what they were looking at to give you plus money for it, but give me Chase Briscoe top 5 plus 130.
Yeah, we're just running a staggered Chase Briscoe car lift, Rod. So the next leg to that is him to be the top finishing Toyota at plus 500. Plus 550 rather is what you can get that at. Look, you just made a great case for him. Absolutely love Chase Briscoe this week. We've both talked about him at length at this point. The Toyota group is a tough one, right? You got Denny Hamlin's going to be great here. Already made the case for that. Christopher Bell should be great here. I know somebody had asked earlier in the chat, how do you bet on him? Heavy favorite this week with Denny. It's hard to find a way at this point in time to bet on him. Been a little inconsistent lately, but a great run last week. But I think getting Briscoe, who I think is equal to, just behind Denny, maybe equal to Bell at this point in time, how they've been running, plus 550, it's just out too big of a number for what it should be. So give me the Briscoe top Toyota. Again, this should be Denny Hamlin. That should be, but I think that Chase Briscoe has proven lately he can run with and better than Denny Hamlin as well. Shouldn't be plus 550 in this group. So yeah, Chase Briscoe top Toyota plus 550.
What's crazy, though, is that we've seen, I know we keep harping on the chalk part of it, and yeah, it's probably going to be chalk, but we've seen little incidents that take out the Kyle Larsons, the Denny Hamlins, the Tyler Reddicks in some instances, a lot of times, the Ryan Blaney's. Like, we see these little things that turn their day inside out, and, you know, Captain Two-Stroke wants to know how you're going to pick Briscoe over Bell. Come on, buddy.
Well, let me explain that to you, because if you go and you look at the numbers for what they are priced at, as I try to quickly pull them up here. Top Toyota, Christopher Bell's plus 140. Denny Hamlin's plus 140. Chase Briscoe's plus 550. So if you have those 3 guys on a pretty same level, I'd put Denny at the top, and I think that Bell and Briscoe at this point in time, I think there's a lot of case to be made that Briscoe's been there's not a case to be made. Briscoe has been running better than Christopher Bell has lately, and you're getting him at 4 times the number that you're getting Briscoe at? That's why it's not always about who you think is going to. I think that Denny Hamlin is going to be the top finishing Toyota, but I know that there's a lot better value in betting on Chase Briscoe. And yeah, you look back at Bell, like 2nd last week, but 17th at Iowa, 8th at Indy, 17th at Pocono, 16th at Michigan, 10th at Nashville, 2nd at Kansas. Yeah, you won Phoenix. I get it, right? Short flat, but not. Yeah, I mean, that's why I picked Chase Briscoe. The number, and he's been running better in an overall sense than Bell has lately. So those 2 factors make it an easy Briscoe for me at that number.
Yeah, I do truly love Briscoe this week. It's kind of crazy that I came around to Briscoe because I wasn't necessarily on him at the beginning of the year, but sometimes you can't ignore what's been happening right in front of your face. And yeah, that's been the case for Briscoe this week. All right, mine, I'm stepping outside of the norm, and I'm going to take one of these specials that Caesars gives us, and this is average speed of the race. Going to take the over on this one. 96.5 is the over, minus 105 for average speed of the race for the last 6 not cookout 400s, but for the last 6 races in Richmond have been faster than 96.5 overall in speed. In fact, last fall's race, right? Last August's race, average speed, 100.355 average speed. That is pretty quick for Richmond Raceway. 4 cautions in that for 26 laps. So basically the stage cautions and then 1 for cause. So they basically ran quite long on this one. Cody was just talking about it earlier. The reason why they've dropped down to 1 now is because a lot of people were complaining a la last year as well. Like I said, the fall race was 100 miles an hour. Spring barely missed it, 94.076 miles an hour, only 5 cautions in that one, probably slowed it down a little bit. Fall of 2023 or July of 2023, average speed 98.73, so that was the over. The spring race of that one, 91, so that one missed it. But in 2022, 98.11 the average speed, 97.447 the spring race average speed, better than 96, of course, which is more faster. And look, we're starting to see a little more green flaggishness out of the Cup Series, especially on racetracks where there's not necessarily a lot of or a lot of trouble to get into. And Richmond's not one of those tracks where you're going to see a ton of trouble. And I think, 5 cautions in 2022 in the spring, 5 in the fall, 8 cautions in 2023 in the spring. That was kind of calamity, but only 3 in the fall. 5 in the spring of 2024, 4 in the fall. So not a lot of cautions in these next gen races on this track, which means that these drivers are going to be going fast for a majority of it, which gives you an opportunity to have higher than or more than or, better than or whatever wording you want to put it. 96.5 is the average speed of this race.
You dug into it and you made a pretty solid case. I got no argument, Rod.
Beautiful.
Can we do the same thing we did last week and start with your outright first?
Absolutely, yeah. Because that's
because I'd like to agree with you before anything else.
Okay, well, if you're looking at the top of the list for the conventional track total speed rankings heading to Richmond on iFantasy Race, you will find young William Byron sitting right there on the top with an average speed rank of 5.47. But right behind him, Denny Hamlin. We have said Denny Hamlin's season has been highly disappointing as a whole, right? But unfortunately for people that like to say that, he's still got 4 wins. He's got 11 top 5s. He's got 12 top 10 finishes. His average finish 13.6. Not necessarily where you like it, but he just won at Dover, 3rd at Indy, bad day at Iowa, bad day at Watkins Glen. But on this particular track, it's just like, Cody had made a point earlier. It's just been Denny Hamlin's track. He's got the best average finish here in the next gen era with 5 overall, a win in 2021, a 4th place in 2022, rather, 1st place and 4th place. Let's get that straight. 20th in the spring of 2023, but 2nd, 1st, 2nd. So 2 wins and then 4 top 2 finishes in the next gen era. It's just Denny Hamlin's track. Right? This is not, if there's a track in which he can find his way and claw his way back to the, I hate to say it because it's been such any other driver out there, right? We would be praising them 100% on the season that they've had so far because it's been one of those seasons for Denny Hamlin, but it's just outweighed by how bad he's been at times. And then I guess the noise he's making off track too with his podcast and everybody painting him as the villain in that instance as well. So, but Denny Hamlin is priced at plus 425. A guy that has got 4 top 2 finishes in the last 6 races in this should not be plus 425. I get it. He's one of the favorites. I get it. He's a heavy favorite, but a heavy favorite plus 425 when last week we saw like plus 160 for some favorites. I'll take that chance at Denny Hamlin plus 425 rather at Hard Rock.
Yep. I love this. Denny Hamlin's the guy I was going to put in here. He'll probably make my article for sportsgamblingpodcast.com as my winning pick because he, I talked about earlier with the top 3. He's been so good here. He's been so good this season. He's been so consistent. He's the guy to beat at this point in time. He is what Kyle Larson has been in the past, Rod. And I fully agree with you. And I also endorse betting Denny Hamlin. If you'd not put him in here, he would have made the top of my list. Rod, I had Kyle Larson in here at 9-1 on FanDuel to win this race because I was going to come on here and I was going to make a case for, look, the numbers started to slip. You're getting the best race car driver in the world at 9-1. This is when we jump on it. And if he beats us, if he wins, great. If he wrecks, you got it at 9-1. You feel okay about it. I've talked myself out of it as we've gone throughout this show, and I'm no longer going to give that bet out. I don't think you can trust Captain Shook right now. And Kyle Larson, and I'll continue to say this, and I've been saying this, is going to show up. He's going to dominate one of these races. He's going to win, and everything's going to be right in the world. When is that? I know somebody asked that in the chat earlier, right? He's going to do it, but when is it? Well, that's a good question, right? But I don't think that this is the week. You look at what he's done here, been much better here in the spring than he has in the fall. Not a lot of great results, and he's just been off lately. I don't think that it's worth it for the number. I think that when you can get his teammate William Byron at 10-1, he's the other guy I was waffling back and forth on. I think I'd rather have William Byron. Now, I will say the results here at Richmond aren't overall great. 13th, 7th, 21st, 24th, but in that April, he's been better in the spring too, but that April 23, where he finished in 24th, he led 117 laps, first and third in the stages. I don't remember what happened, but finished in 24th. 11th, he had a third here in 2022 where he led 122 laps. But you look at this season, right? Iowa, just a couple of weeks ago, he led 141 laps. He won the race. That's just 2 weeks ago at a comp track, and you're getting him at 10-1. You go back to Phoenix, the other short flat we've been on this season. He led 83 laps after starting on the pole and finished in 6th place. So he's looked pretty good this season on the short flat tracks, on the comp tracks. He seems to have gotten over the summer slump, right? He's run well. 4th place at Watkins Glen last week, 1st at Iowa. There was some rough finishes at Indy and Dover in there too, but I don't think you can trust Kyle Larson even at 9-1, which is, when it dropped, I was just like 9-1, Kyle, because you're so trained to just see him plus 450 every plus 3. You don't ever get the number, but at this point in time, what about Kyle Larson lately has made you say it's not like we've had he led a bunch of laps and he stepped on his dick and wrecked. He's in second at Indy, yes, but it wasn't ever really feel like he was ever going to win that race. Since Kansas, aka since the Indy 500, he's not been good, and I just can't do it. So I've changed my mind. The graphic that's going to come up in a second says Larson. Larson is not the pick. It's now William Byron, 10-1 over on FanDuel. Chase Briscoe, 16-1. Rod, when will they give this man respect? I don't know, but we're going to keep betting him until they do. Brad Keselowski, I talked about him earlier in a head-to-head, talked about him top 5, talked about him top 4. He needs to win, and he had the best car at Iowa a couple of weeks ago. 22-1 over on DraftKings. You can get that. Love that for Keselowski. And Austin Dillon, defending race winner, fastest car here last year, 40-1. It's worth a sprinkle.
Beautiful stuff. Jimmy checking in. Jimmy Marcoux saying, yo,
Jimmy.
What up? And that Gibbs sold us last race. Nope.
We're not going to
nope,
talk
he
about
didn't
that.
sell anybody.
He's cashed so many fucking bets for us this year, Rod. I don't want to hear your bullshit. And TK, by the way, if a Hendrick car is to win, he assumes it's Byron. I agree with that. I think, Elliott, I don't know. And Larson he's shook right now. And Bowman can always win. Bowman's won here before. But he's hard. He's 40-1. If you want to take a bet, you could probably make that case for him every single week. I will say Joe Gibbs' team winning bet at plus 110 might end up on the Friday show because that's been just staring me down. And man, Joe Gibbs owns this fucking track, and that team has been so good here. You'd get Briscoe, you get Bell, you get Hamlin. You don't have to pick between them. Plus 110. The more and more I look at that bet, the more and more delicious it looks.
It definitely looks much, much more scrumptious than a lot of the other stuff out there right now. But yeah, we'll definitely have that for you on Friday. All right, get out your pen and paper. It's time to go over our bets for this Cookout 400 from the Richmond Speedway. And for those of you on the YouTubes, as the kids say, I've got the wrong thing that I downloaded. That is horrible. All right, well, then you don't get a graphic today. That was all me, guys. I'm sorry about that. Or maybe we'll put it in the Discord. Who knows? That is unbelievable. How did that happen? All right, too late. All right, here we go. Cody started you out with Austin Dillon to start on the pole at 60-1. Added Brad Keselowski over Tyler Reddick at minus 130 over on ESPN. I said that Chase Elliott would finish better than Ryan Blaney. Not by much, but just enough at minus 120 over on ESPN. Cody said Denny Hamlin would be a top 3 car at plus 110. And then I said that Bubba Wallace, top 10. This is probably, again, I don't give locks, but if this was a lock, this is a lock. Bubba Wallace, top 10, plus 125 over on BetMGM. Cody gave you Chase Briscoe and Chase Elliott to finish inside of the top 10 at plus 125. Also gave you Kyle Busch to finish inside of the top 10 at plus 110 over on BetMGM. I said, let's shake the Captain Shook a little bit and take Kyle Larson at a top 5 at minus 115. Cody gave you Brad Keselowski top 5 plus 210. Also added the top Ford at plus 500. So 5-1 for that. I gave you Chase Briscoe as a top 5 car at plus 130 over on ESPN. Cody gave you Chase Briscoe top Toyota at plus 550. I said the average speed of the race would be over 96.5 at minus 105 over on Caesars. Cody gave you William Byron at 10-1, Chase Briscoe at 16-1, Brad Keselowski at 22-1, Austin Dillon at 40-1 to win the race. I said Denny Hamlin at plus 425 is my chalky pick of the week to win at Richmond. That is it, my friend. We have reached the end of the Richmond Cookout 400. Can't wait to start. Well, remember, everybody, Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday. This race is on Saturday.
Get those bets in. It is Saturday night this week and next week at Daytona. So get those bets in. Rod will be back tomorrow. Hopefully Truck Series. We'll see what the books do for us. If not, it'll be DFS tomorrow. Trucks on Thursday. Either way, we'll have those two. And then a little special bonus coming for you. Get a special guest bonus picks as well on Friday. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. Click that bell. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts. All the fun stuff the kids say. You can also follow me, Rod, over on the X at Husker_Zeeb. I do not just NASCAR and racing, but tons of other sports, especially for sportsgamblingpodcast.com. Bunch of college football previews coming out for conferences, best bets, NFL stuff. Been doing the preseason weekly picks, all sorts of fun stuff. So you can get all of that over there. And see you guys tomorrow.
Indeed. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bottom, everything I got going on, whether it's here. Make sure you check out In Between Media, the back road, Seth and Elliot holding it down for you on this Richmond week. And then, of course, my daily DGen play of the day. Tackled some surfing the other day. I tackled some esports a couple of times. I've had darts on there. I've had table tennis. You name it, I'm covering it, and it's been a blast. So go click on those to keep me going for the rest of the month because my time is almost up with that special series. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow with some form of an episode. And until then, let's go racing and let it ride.